This guest is from Arizona, and her name's Kaylin Castell. I will read her bio first, and then we'll start a conversation, okay? Kaylin Castell is the co-founder of Venus Alchemy, My Star Alchemy, and the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School. In addition to writing monthly celestial timing for 25 years, she enjoys sharing this mystery through personal readings, newsletters, YouTube videos, and teaching both online and in-person events, changing lives and perspectives. From the visionary understanding that we inform the mystery as much they inform us. Kaylin also wrote and narrated the popular 12 tribe journey through the archetypes of signs. Without further ado, let's have a warm welcome to Kaylin. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. That's great.
Oh, how are you?
I'm really good. Really good. How are you?
Yeah. Our group is a soul tribe for art. So you are really, really the right person to talk about this topic. I really like when you say that the mystery, they inform us and we inform them, right? For your longest journey, 25 years, that's a long time. That's like quarter of a century. Can you tell the viewer? Oh, before doing that, I'd like to have a little acknowledgement about your co-founder as well, Tammy Brunk. Without her, I won't be able to know you. But let's just go from here. Kaylin, how did you go into the Venus alchemy? How did you get into this astrology? There are so many questions. I wrote down a lot of notes here, but I think we have this 30 minutes time frame. I'm afraid I don't want to occupy too much of time. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I will tell you, it was all part of the magic and mystery that got me involved in all of this. I was 9 months pregnant with my youngest son. I have 4 children. This was back in 1990. So literally I've been doing this work and involved with this work for 30 years. I went to my first class 2 weeks before he was born. And then when I heard what was being shared in shamanic astrology, from the shamanic astrology perspective, I was like, I have got to know this. So so I found ways to learn it, even though I had a baby and 3 other children. And it was like a passion of mine. And I never thought I'd be an astrologer. What I thought was I would learn this information as a tool for myself and to help people, support people. And then things just kept happening, and one thing led to another, and I wound up becoming the co-founder of the Mystery School. I helped write I actually wrote the Shamanic Astrology Handbook for Daniel because I had the skill to do that, and I didn't even know I had the skill to do that. I found out I had the skill to do that. But I was just trusting the energy of what was before me. And so then from there, after leading lots of classes and doing lots of things over the years, Daniel asked me to teach Tammy Brunk the synodic cycles of Venus, Mars, and Mercury. Wow. And that's a little bit longer story, but the short story is we decided to lead people through the Venus cycle as ceremony. And we had such a huge response. This was back in 2014. And so we've been doing it almost 8 years now. And it just gets better all the time, and it's more exciting, and we just love it so much, and people get excited about it, and are often feel very transformed by the process of ceremonially engaging. So the statement that you were saying, we inform the mysteries as much as they inform us. When we engage that living relationship, and we understand what's going on with the cycle and what the ceremonies and everything that are happening at each particular point along the way, then we're informing the mysteries as much as they're informing us. So we figure out how to engage that and place our intentions into that, and then magic happens. It's just so amazing.
Yeah. When you said magic happened, it's really amazing that I think before I invite you in, everybody saw your that Venus alchemy celebrating the goddess within. That picture. I don't know who you are, who you did that with, but that's the image that intrigued me. That was back in 2019. I think Tammy sent me some emails, and I was intrigued, but I didn't really do anything. But it was awareness of that image of that and the lion, right? And the lion, and eventually November 2019 you started maybe a new cycle for your Venus alchemy signature. I think I'm talking about signature.
Yes.
I did join, and I don't take this lightly because at the time I was taking a bunch of courses, but this one is really got me into really study it with Tammy and with Kellen, and a lot of exercise for sure. And right away after a few months, I started my YouTube. So you are my YouTube guest. Can you imagine that? It's all the unknown, but it's happening at the same time, right? Let me
Right.
share a video. I think at the end of the video, beginning of video, because you have so many video. You are so prolific. Anyway, that mention about I don't know who that person is. Oliver Wendell Holmes. The quote is, "A mind that is stretched by new experiences can never go back to its old dimensions." Could you just let's talk a little bit about this, and let's just emphasize on the Venus, because we know you are the expert of Venus. You are the expertise. There's a love, art, harmony. What else? Relationship. What being attracted to you? That's all Venus.
Well, and I know that that's how astrologers have perceived Venus for a long time, but Venus is so much more than that. Because what we're seeing it as is whatever sign Venus is in when you're born, if you're a woman, that is your emerging feminine identity for the current life. What aspect of the feminine are you here to express, explore, help evolve? Because of course, all these archetypes are evolving in a big way right now, as we're in this rapid planetary evolutionary process that sometimes seems more crazy than we can imagine. But it, so there, and we could say there's at least 12 different expressions of the feminine, and some of them are more what we might consider, like, Venus. I have Venus in Aries, so Venus in Aries, she's the wild warrior woman, and right, she's fire, and she does not want to be told what to do, and I can attest to that.
Yes.
Don't know what to do. Wait, are you trying to tell me what to do?
No.
Anyway. But she can also be committed and all into a project, a process, to a relationship, whatever it might be. And, but she might not, it depends on what she is really involved in. She might not even be interested in a relationship. I've been very relational my whole life, so I'm definitely not, I am interested in a relationship as a Venus in Aries, but the, some of the archetypes of the feminine are not so much interested in that. And so it depends on other factors on the chart, whether they will actually be relational or not. So Venus is not always relational. That's my whole point of saying this. She's not always interested in relationships. Sometimes she's more interested in expanding consciousness and being revolutionary and, going down her own unique path. And so if relationship's going to keep her from doing that, she's not going there. Right. And I know a lot of women, like my grandmothers, both of them, when their husbands died, they never had another relationship, partly because, of course, you have to think back that they were born in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And so women at that time, their husbands told them what to do, and they didn't like that. And so they felt free when their husbands died to do what they wanted to do.
Wow, yeah.
Now we're living in a different time.
No more confinement, right?
Right? It's like, oh, you have to do what your husband tells you to do. That was the old rule, right? And we're changing that now. But that's why sometimes those women, when their husbands died, was like, yep, I'm not doing that again. How do we get?
It could be possible. It could be possible. Let me interrupt you a little bit here,
Yeah.
because I do have a question. But some people, it happened to be they so attached to their husband. So when their husband died, she died within 2 years. Is that
Yes.
possible?
Yes, there is that too. So we're not saying not, so there are 12 archetypes of the feminine, 12 different signs that Venus can be in. And then the Venus signature, as you were speaking to, there's a lot of subtleties and different things that you add to that. So depending on whether she's morning star, evening star, underworld, whether, whether she's got what kind of sun position she has. I have a Pisces sun, so I've tended to be less fierce as Venus in Aries than somebody who has an Aries sun.
You
Right?
have a big love, right? That's Pisces. So that's a big
Yeah.
love.
Yeah,
That's
and
all you
the sun is really infused into everything. So it's infused into my feminine expression. And actually, probably for the first part of my life, I didn't even realize I had this more part of myself that was really interested in having a cause and a mission and a purpose. So it took a little while for me to find that and figure that out. And I had husbands that were in the way.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I completely
So,
understand that. Yeah, yeah. And you know what? What happened to me when I was in Kalen and Tammy's course? I didn't realize that I was I didn't, before I took the course, I didn't know my signature, the face of my Venus. So I'm a morning star at the very beginning, the new goddess. So I really have to go dive into the deep, the underground, and then rise again as a maybe not evening star. Are we in the evening star phase now? Yes.
we are in the evening star phase right now, yes. As this is being recorded, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's more like a wise woman. I have actually a quotation again for you, and then we go from there.
Okay.
I wrote this. This lady's called, let me see, Suzanne White. She wrote this book in 1986, and then there's a quotation here: "The planets influence a sign's character position in the heaven, helps to predict the future." So on the Venus side, we are in the meta goddess. I think a lot of us here, they don't know what is meta goddess. But it would be fun that you can explain to the audience, to the Soul Tribe, and to the YouTube audience, what is this meta goddess Gemini Venus is at this moment.
I'm happy to explain that. So there's a couple of things first to know, because you mentioned the morning star piece. So when Venus rises as morning star, whatever sign she is in, is the archetype of the feminine that is being integrated into the collective psyche of humanity for the entire Venus cycle of about 19 months. So what happened in June of 2020 was Venus rose as a morning star in the sign of Gemini. So that became the meta goddess on the world stage, and is on the world stage until January of 2022, when Venus will rise again as a morning star, this time in the sign of Capricorn. So it'll put a different meta goddess on the world stage for the next 19 months that'll last until August of 2023. So the meta goddess is whatever sign Venus was in when she rose as morning star before you were born. So everybody's going to have a meta goddess. And interestingly, Venus rises up in 5 different signs. You can see my 5-pointed star here behind me with Venus on the 5-pointed star. And so that's showing that there are 5 different points of the Venus star, and that Venus star moves through the sky over time. So over time, all the expressions of the goddess will be meta goddesses. But it takes a while, because it's about 104 years in that it rises up every 8 years in a specific sign, creating this pentagram in the sky. So there's that, and then there's the morning star. So when Venus rises as morning star, it's like you add fire, no matter what sign Venus is in. She could be in a water sign, she could be in Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You're adding fire. If she's in an earth sign, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, you add fire. So she's going to be, and this has been so helpful for people because sometimes they're like, I don't relate to my Venus that much because it's an earth sign, but you find out it's a morning star and that this person's very fiery and gets things done and that sort of thing. Now I have a fire Venus, but I'm an evening star, and that's like adding earth. So my Venus is a little more thoughtful. She doesn't just blaze into everything. She likes to think about it a little bit. So how do we synthesize
So you
all
have
these
an evening
effects?
star?
I do. I have an evening. I have an evening star.
A lot of people who might be interested, but they might not have any knowledge about astrology at all. Can they join your course?
Yeah, that's a great question. You don't
Can you
really
hear
have
me?
to know astrology. Yeah, I heard you. I don't know if you can hear me. You don't have to know astrology to get a lot out of doing the ceremonial journey. So you're not hearing me? Yeah, you keep freezing on the screen.
I'm okay. It's just a little bit like breaking up.
Yeah. So if you don't know anything about astrology, this is a ceremonial journey, and we basically give you all the information you need to be able to work with this in the best way possible. Once each month, we gather together and we talk about what's happening and how to work with the energy. So you don't have to know about astrology. It can be helpful. We have had a lot of people who really don't know a lot, and they have loved it. We've had people who know a lot and they loved it too. So
That's good. That's good. Carolyn, let me ask you about a different perspective, different take. I know we have baby boomer, the Generation X, and millennials,
yes.
and Gen Z. All who are interested in to say so they know what they've been up to.
So you were freezing up a little bit there, so I'm just going to ask you if this is what you're asking me. It's like, how do the different generations relate to this work? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm a baby boomer, and I guess Tammy would be, she's the next generation, I think, or I'm trying to think, Gen X, and then there was,
me too.
yeah, and I think that's her, and then the millennials, that's all my kids.
1990.
Yeah, my kids are all millennials, and then those that come after tend to be the Gen Zers and so on. So what's interesting is it seems like there's a real resurgence, and more and more young people are really getting interested in astrology. That has been what I've seen. That there's quite a few in the baby boomers and the Gen Xers, but the millennials and the Gen Zers are really starting to get on board, and it's just been amazing to watch, because that's great, because that means this will go on after we're gone. Right?
That's good. Yes. Do you think we have a little bit time for you to explain? Because in our groups in Venus art, they probably born all in different kind of signs. Is it possible for you at this short period of time, just a few keywords? What does it mean for their Venus, for example, in Aries? And let's go from Aries to Pisces. Is it okay?
Yeah, right. So as I said before, Aries.
What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah. So this is very short because there's way more that we can, so I'll just give you a little short synopsis or look at it. So
yeah.
Aries is, she's the wild warrior woman who's most interested in a cause, a mission, and a purpose. And she doesn't want to be told what to do, and she doesn't want anyone in her way. Taurus is all about pleasure, beauty, intimacy, connection. So this is a more relational aspect of the feminine. And she, and also could be very much the artist, creating beauty. And one of the things that Taurus is here to learn how to do is how to receive the gift of life and the gift of love, and to be an epicure of all of that. So that's Taurus. So an epicure is somebody who really savors and enjoys. And then Gemini is she's a little bit of the trickster, Heyoka coyote energy. So that's why I was saying the meta goddess Gemini on the world stage right now, and we're having some sound and technical issues. So she's being a trickster right now. So that trickster energy, but she's also very creative, and she's here to tell the new stories. Like, she's the storyteller. So the stories that we've had, the myths, have helped to inform our reality, the mythic stories that we have. So Venus and Gemini at this time is here to help us tell the new stories. What are the new stories we want to help us navigate this reality? And, when our minds have been stretched, as Ernest Holmes said, when they've been stretched, they never go back. They always are a little bit more in an expanded field after that. So that's part of what Gemini is here to do, is in service to spirit and as a messenger. And then Venus in Cancer, mother, nurturer, doesn't have to be a mother of a child or children, but mothering projects, communities, people, whatever it might be, to be that nurturing energy. And ideally, what I feel is happening for Cancer now is first learn how to take care of yourself. And then you can take care of other people in a healthy way. Otherwise, it gets a little messy, so to speak. So that can be one of the challenges that Cancer faces. Venus in Leo is the energy of the radiant queen, somebody who's learning how to love herself and have self-confidence, self-approval, self-acceptance, self-respect. The self, really having a sense of self in a strong, clear way. And to do it in a way that inspires others to also come from that place of healthy self-love. That's what Leo's really about. Then Virgo is the high priestess. She is the one who is here to honor life as sacred, to do the ceremonies, to be attuned to the seasons and the cycles of the moon and the sun and the planets and the earth, and how do we create a sacred relationship with the earth, something we've lost. So that's what Venus in Virgo is here to do now. And then Venus in Libra, of course, is about how do we create collaborative, conscious, co-creative relationships. No more hierarchy. No more being told what to do, men telling women what to do. It's like, how do we create it so that it's that equal, being loved for who you are and not who someone wants you to be, or loving someone for who they are and not who you want them to be. That's the Libra journey. Scorpio is the sorceress. And I like that word, not maybe in the sense that some people might think of it more shadow side of it, but the sense of it as she is connected to source. So she is learning to be a mistress of magic and manifestation, and how to feel what she really feels, and through that ability to manifest her desires in the most exciting ways possible. That's Scorpio. And then Sagittarius is, she's the vision quest goddess. She's here to do the quest for truth and meaning, and to expand consciousness, and to really experience what it means to be whole, wholly, I guess maybe we could say, enlightened within oneself. And then Capricorn is the grandmothers, the wise ones, the learning how to be the wisdom keeper for the community, and how to get things done in the most effective and efficient ways so that they are sustainable for generations to come. Right? And also there's a playful aspect to Capricorn that a lot of people overlook. So that crazy wisdom, fun wisdom aspect of, you know, that aspect of the grandmothers, honoring the grandmothers and the wisdom of the grandmothers and the grandfathers and the elders. And then the Venus in Aquarius is about expanding consciousness and revolutionizing the way we perceive our reality so we can have a new experience of it. It's very cosmic. It's cosmic consciousness. It's, you know, that it's bringing in new ideas that are innovative, creative, cutting edge, that kind of thing. And then Pisces is the compassionate world healer. We could say, how can I help and heal? How can I be here to be a support and help in healing other people? But first I have to do that for myself. And one of the things Pisces has a big challenge with is learning how it's not their job to fix it, change it, or make it be different, but rather to hold the space for people to experience the healing they need within themselves. And sometimes just somebody holding that space, being there and being present, is all anyone needs to do their own healing. So that's the magic that Pisces brings. So there you go.
Very nice. Thank you for the explanation. That was very short, but very concise and distinct. I really love it. You know what? You are the pro. But they have people really need to go into the detail. Maybe they can find you somewhere. And also, I like to ask you a question about this My Star Alchemy. I just noticed that. Could you tell a little bit about that? Something new for you?
Yeah, so I have a website that I've been writing about stars and Bohemian stars, magical stars, the stars of the ancient alchemists for many years, like 25 years probably I've been doing this. And so I'm collaborating with someone Eric Roth, who was the managing director of the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School until the end of last year. And so we want to bring this more of the star alchemy and like, how do we work with these stars? There are certain times of the year, certain stars are very visible. The moon passes by them, or planets go, you know, in that part of the sky. And that's when the alchemists would make their talismans, their elixirs, their potions, their sigils, they create intentions, and there's certain magic that's associated with each of these stars. So we're creating a course on how to do that, how to know what the star's about and how to work with it, and things that you might want to create to enhance your own intentions and as you work with the magic of the stars. So yeah, that's what My Star Alchemy is all about.
That's wonderful. And I think I'm going to put this on the YouTube description down below, and so people can kind of click to that when they wish. Okay. And yeah, I know we are approaching the half-hour frame, but I would like to have a little bit your words of wisdom in terms of now we want to be one and beyond. What's your words of wisdom for this? Because there's so many things happening now.
I think that part of it is being aware that we are co-creating our reality in every moment. And when we are aware of what the mysteries are happening with the planets and the stars and the archetypal energies and the seasons and all of that that's going on, then we can be more conscious co-creators, because we're co-creating whether we're aware of it or not. And so if we want to create something that is more magical, more fun, more aligned with what's really in our heart and that sort of thing, then this is a really fabulous tool to know what's going on and how to work with it and to go out and be under the sky. And ancient cultures spent a lot of time under the sky. They didn't have TV, they had the sky to watch, right? So they had a very strong relationship. We've lost that. And part of it was purposely taken away from regular people. Only the elite people could have it. And so it's time to reclaim that and get that back so that we can work the magic with great mystery, with the universe, with, however you want to define it, so that we're in that co-creative relationship, but it's conscious and it's purposeful and it's intentional. So I think that's the, if anybody feels inspired by this, this is what inspired me and got me involved. And I had declared to myself before I got involved with this work is that I wanted to live a magical life, because I had been living a really challenging life up until that point. I'm like, I'm done with that. I want to live a magical life. And when this came into my life, I knew that it was the key to living a magical life for me. Now, there might be other things for other people, but it really worked for me. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure and honor to have you here today, Kellen. And I will put all your information down below at the description. And hopefully people get to know you better, okay?
Yeah, that would be awesome.